Tailteann, the biggest amateur cycle race in Ireland. It left Dublin last Saturday in a cavalcade of colour and excitement, and it finishes in Dunleary tomorrow. Well, on Monday and Tuesday, we had a camera with the race as it went from Derry to Donegal to Sligo and attempted the daunting gap of Monroe. Your reporter is George Hamilton.
No, this is my third time to drive behind it, and I still haven't figured out whether it's harder to follow the race and do a job or to ride it.
Gerald Irvine is there, obviously, he's going well. There's a couple of English guys up there. Cormac McCannis is very close by too, you know.
Thank you, Yank.
Well, I heard a few stories. Heard people gone up it in about 27 sprockets, people gone up it in a pair of good shoes, soft soles in them, you know, that have run up it. But by all means, it's going to be a very hard hill, you know.
Phil Cassidy's a very strong climber. He's in really good form at the minute. Stephen Spratt, Stephen Delaney. Really, most of the people who seem to be in contention at the minute all shouldn't have any problems whenever we hit the hills.
Stage 3 starts from Derry's Guildhall and heads off to Buncrana, 138 kilometres with 3 severe climbs. The third over the famous Gap of Marmore, high in the Inishowen Peninsula. Philip Cassidy of the Meath Viking team holds the yellow jersey. Gerald Irvine of Ireland Snow Cream is the points leader with the green jersey on his shoulders. He also leads the mountain classification ahead of Tipperary Yoplait Stephen Spratt, last year's FBD Milk Ross winner. Phil Cassidy, Jamie McGann and Stephen Delaney are the other Ross winners in the field of 130 riders. After crossing into the Republic, it's down to business for most. The Mountain Goats will be hoping to improve their positions. Even before the start proper, a few riders took a tumble at the back of the bunch. The most badly injured was Vincent Kelly of the Tipperary Yoplait team, who'd only decided to join the Ross a week earlier. He's the younger brother of the great Sean Kelly of Carrick Wheelers. Race riders are tough. They just get on with the job and leave the rest of us to think about the pain.
Vinnie Kelly crashed in the roundabout early on, and apparently he put his shoulder out. He's gone back there through the car, so I would imagine he's got out of the race. I hope he's not the G in. It's a very funny start to the race today. The roads are a wee bit narrow. New accidents and punctures, you know.
Dermot Dignam is the man who puts the Ross together on behalf of the NCA.
Well, the conditions are very, very heavy going. The roads are reasonably good. Very good cycling country, some very, very tough times to come. Should be a very interesting stage. The wind is tricky. The wind at the moment is going crossways and it's very, very tricky. When it swing around, the riders will swing around, the course swings around back into the breeze. Some very hard riding up there at the moment.
By Malin, there's a reasonable break, led out by Cork's Ger Madden, Dave Ferguson of the Dublin Carlsberg team, and another Cork man, Ger Wiley.
Hey, get us a wheel!
Greg Orovets of the Tipperary Yoplait team is complaining about the lack of service for his teammate, Stephen Delaney. In a race such as this, the help and comfort of a teammate can mean much when the chips are down. The tactics for each team and rider are complex and ever-changing with the conditions of the state of play. And when the opportunity arises, when the climber sees his chance, for instance, it's the strong-limbed and the ambitious who break out. Stephen Spratt is now only a mile from the first climb of the day, the Black Mountain. He's a stylist and he's experienced.
Well, Stephen, what do you think? What do you think of the stage?
Very windy. Come on, Ger.
Ger Madden is his temporary partner. Behind, the chasing group is ever watchful. Greg Orovets, David McCall, Paul McCormick and Hodge of France are the prime movers. And when Stephen Spratt goes for the climb, of course he keeps an eagle eye on those close behind. Now it's Hodge who presents a challenge to the Tipperary team rider. And Paul McCormick in third has to cope with the American Greg Orovets in the Tipperary jersey. Donegal's exquisite scenery goes almost unnoticed by the riders. The next climb is at Malin Head. The race leader Phil Cassidy has his own job to do. He's got to watch his closest rivals like Gerard Irvine, Andrew Crawshaw, Mick Walsh, Niall McWilliams and Cormac McCann. For the moment, he sits in the bunch. While up ahead, the first stage winner into Killashandra on Saturday, Orovets, sees his opportunity to close on the leader Cassidy. Orovets is almost 3 minutes in arrears of the Meath man. The scenic beauty of Inishowen is at its best. Rugged and tough for the riders, splendid for the camera in the sunshine. Now, it's the Malin Head climb. Dave Ferguson of the Dublin Carlsberg team goes for this one. Now the summit. Paul McCormick pushes himself into second. Harrington of the French Lec team third. Anthony O'Gorman and Huez of France are the other riders on the Malin Head climb. The road now is reasonably flat until the back-breaking Mamor Gap. Just 30 seconds behind, the bunch is strung out but ready to move with the danger men. The colour is spectacular. The fast-moving train of riders, some stronger than others. Sometimes the strong pulling along the weak. That's very much the lot of the stage rider. Anthony O'Gorman of Limerick Burgerland takes up a new position in the break.
Struggling along.
But some struggle with a headwind like Anthony. The Clonmel-based rider considers the hard wind the worst enemy at the moment. The pace is now almost 30 miles an hour as they skirt the sea close to Malin town. Paul McCormick, one of our riders now based in America, looks strong and resolute. He rides for the Longford team.
Somebody had to push me.
The two Frenchmen are doing their share of the work at the front.
Wait for beach.
Behind, there's a chasing group marshalled by the race leader, Phil Cassidy. The man from Clonee is prepared to lead out, to marshal and to motivate the others. Kevin Kimmage, Joe Barr and Shane Clark are getting the train moving in pursuit. The travelling journalists keep their notes on the proceedings.
Pratt's making a bit of a charge. There's still a good way to go to the hill, isn't there? This fella Harrington is going well. I don't know about Paul McCormick. And Ferguson is driving strongly. It's all very interesting.
It's also interesting for the people of Carndonagh as the field flashes through. Here, Kevin Kimmage tries to bridge the gap to the stage leaders. He looks strong and he's prepared to work. Cassidy is still organising and looks for information from his team car. Seamus Downey of Down marks Jamie McGahan of the Garda Lada team. McGahan won the Ross 6 years ago.
Okay.
And still Kevin Kimmage is up at the front of the chasers with John Sheehan of Dublin Panasonic.
What's the gap?
Gap of 38 seconds at the minute, but the quick behind is it's breaking up a bit, and some of them are chasing their gear, and goodness knows what length of way it'll be before they get to the hill. We know what it'll be like after they get to the hill.
Sometime later, the gap is closed. The chasers are almost caught. Kimmage has been the prime mover with this group of 12 riders. Mamor is now almost in sight. The pulse quickens. And there it is, majestic Mamor. It rises 1 and 4 up to 1,000 feet. This will test the strong. The chasers are only seconds behind the front men. Now they pick the correct gear. The man who can push the sprockets fastest and hardest will be at the top first. Greg Orovitz is going well until he misses a gear change. Phil Cassidy in the yellow jersey looks very strong. Over the top, and at 60 miles an hour plus downhill into Buncrana, Greg Orovitz is first from Michael Kinsella, Paul McCormick, Gerard Irvin and Phil Cassidy. The pain of Mamor is now left behind. Cassidy is now assured of retaining the yellow jersey for the Tuesday on the way to Sligo. In Buncrana, with just one lap of a circuit to go, Michael Kinsella of the Dublin Panasonic is with Paul McCormick and the American Greg Orovitz. The man in the Tipperary Yoplait jersey has created quite a stir in this year's Ross. He was invited to join the Tip Riders because of his friendship with Stephen Spratt. He has fair potential as a rider. He's only 20 years of age.
Well, I come from Huntington Beach, California, which is below LA by about 50 miles. And started bicycle riding about when I was 15 or 16, and been riding in France for the last 2 years. First year raced with ACBB, and this year with another French club, CSM Persan Big. So it's the #1 club for foreigners in cyclocross in France. And, today's stage is really difficult. I've never seen a climb so savage. I don't want to go up it again either.
Now all that's left is the sprint and a stage win for one of the three. Who's going to start the race for the line? The rider at the rear has the advantage. He knows the other fella's gears. But Orovitz has the strength at the finish. He wins his second stage on the FBD Milk Ross. Philip Cassidy comes in 5th to retain his yellow jersey, and McCormick goes up to 3rd overall behind Cassidy and Gerard Irvin. But it was too tough a day for some.
It's very vicious on the riders, especially some of the riders that aren't going well. Very vicious to bring it up a time like that. But it does sort out the general classification. It gets the better riders up to the front and the lesser riders to the end. But unfortunately for the lesser riders, they're still out there riding their bikes, suffering.
Well, the obvious thing was to get as much time as we could on the leader, because we knew the leader was chasing, and tried to do much work as I could. I was really finished after going over that climb. I could barely do any work. I was really surprised, and I just had to get some fluids in me and do what we could do to get the time, you know.
I promised my father I'd win on Father's Day yesterday, so I thought I'd do it to win today, but tomorrow's another day. And next Sunday I hope either to come in the top 3 or to do something. I'll have to win the stage before a week is out, or I'll shoot myself.
I'm strong enough, but the problem being is depending on how much riding I have to do. Like, there's only a certain amount of riding you can do to defend anything, you know. But after today now I feel very confident.
Tuesday at noon, the weather's deteriorated and they're off to Sligo, a flat 155-kilometre stage with only one climb outside Letterkenny. The field is now reduced to 112 riders. Mamor has taken its toll. Even the service crews are getting tired after 3 days, but the Ross has a long way to go with the finish on Sunday. Food is very necessary, particularly today when it's cold. Orovitz now has the white jersey of stage winner to bring him to the attention of the other riders. Phil Cassidy sports the yellow jersey instead of the Meath Viking colours. He's a fine race leader, according to most riders. Gerard Irvin is his arch rival at this stage. Paul McCormick has the pink mountain jersey, and he's still craving for a stage win. Into Sligo, there are 4 riders in contention: Lawrence Roach, Stephen Delaney, Claude Costello and Thierry Delorme of France. Roach goes for it and gets the stage in front of a huge gathering, but he's still only 49th overall. Delorme is second from Costello and Delaney, and Philip Cassidy, who finished in the bunch, retains the yellow jersey. Irvin and McCormick are still second and third. But there were complaints at the end of day 4, though not from the race leader Cassidy.
Well, it was up to me. It's like the jersey. It's you either defend it or you don't. If you don't defend it, you'll lose it, and that's it. Most riders respect me in the way that, you know, that I do put in the effort to defend it, and like I like to keep it that way if I can, you know. And I find a lot of friends come out a bunch. There's a lot of friends in a bunch that do give me a bit of a dig out along the road. People don't realise it, you know, but they do come along and say, right, this fella's trying hard, so we give him a bit of a dig out, you know.
It's
hardest stage I've ridden in this race in a long time, flat stage. But like, what made it hard is like so many guys just sit on you. They just don't want to work. They just, if you're in front, they just won't even do a turn with you. They just want to say, "Wow, you're on the Tipperary team. You'll have to do your own thing." You know, there's about 10, 20 riders racing, and all the rest are just clinging on and getting in the way more or less.
Today's stage is fairly flat, but the crosswinds made a lot of big difference today because once you got to the front, everybody was right in the front. It was so hard for anybody to cut behind you, or it's a long, hard chase to get back up again. So for a so-called easy stage, it wasn't too easy.
Don't know how to ride in a crosswind because they only let 3 guys pull at the front and the rest just sit on. In France, if there was a crosswind section like that, the group would be gone from the gun. And here it took to the end of the race because everybody was just following, just a pack of followers. There's only really 20 guys, like Stephen said, racing, and the rest are just following everybody around.
The American was slagging Irish riders the other day about the standard of racing here. I raced in France for 2 years, and I figured the standards here, it may be not as good, but it's as hard. Because, like, if you want to win a race here, you have to ride much harder than you would in France.
But the brave Cassidy lost his yellow jersey in Mallow the next day to this man, Paul McCormick. McCormick held on to it yesterday in Tramore. Now it's up to him to defend his property, perhaps all the way to the finish tomorrow in Dunleary. But it will be no easy task.